will do his speech in Russian. For those of you who are hungry to hear some Russian on our meeting, he will do his speech from a storytelling manual. So the objectives of his speech will be to entertain us. So let's welcome Colm.
Спасибо. Наш сегодняшний рассказ из России называется «Колобок». В этом рассказе есть мораль, или может быть морали, а ваше дело, мальчики и девочки, это найти этот мораль или морали. Вам понятно? Да. Хорошо. Начнем. Жили-были в Сибири старик и старуха. Вот говорит старик старухе: «О, я такой же голоден. Сделай для меня, пожалуйста, народный колобок». Она смотрела на него. «Да, ваше желание мой приказ, конечно, сэр». И она шла на кухню. Там она собрала все, что нужно для колобока: сметана, мухи, масло и так далее. И, конечно, она готовила этот колобок. Для тех, которые ничего не знают об этом, колобок — это какой-то порог. Хорошо? Она готовила это, и они оба были голодные, они хотели сразу это съесть. Но он был слишком горячий пока. И поэтому она положила этот колобок на полке, на окошке у окна, чтобы он похолодился. Да, колобок похолоделся, но не только. Он тоже стал живым. А первая идея в мозге колобока был: я жив, значит я здесь, я жив. Я хочу дальше жить. Я не хочу быть завтраком. Я хочу путешествовать. И он решил убегать. Он катился с окошки на пол, по полу к двери, спрыг через порог, в дворе, ворота, дальше, короче. Он катился дальше, катится колобок, а навстречу ему заяц. «Колобок, я тебя съем», — сказал ему заяц. «А не ешь меня, пожалуйста, заяц, а не ешь меня, я тебе песенку пою». «Давай». Что я могу петь вам? Про себя. Я колобок, румяный бок. Блин. По амбару я метен, по сусекам наскребен, на сметане я мешен, и на окошке я стужен. Я от дедушки ушел, и я от бабушки тоже ушел, и от тебя, заяц, я убегу». И он убегал. Заяц только его и видел. Пока он убегал от зайца, он думал себе: жизнь на самом деле опаснее, чем я ожидал. Опасно, мне надо быть осторожным. Я должен быть осторожным в этой жизни играть. И он покатился дальше. Катится колобок, и навстречу ему медведь. «Колобок, а я тебя съем». «Не ешь меня, пожалуйста, медведь, я невкусный». «Мне все равно». «Окей, ладно, тогда перед этим давай я песенку вам спою». «Хорошо, только недолго». Окей. И он подумал и сказал: «Ладно, я колобок, румяный бок. Это слово по амбару я метен, по сусекам наскребен, на сметане мешен, и я на окошке я стужен. Я от бабушки ушел, и от дедушки тоже ушел, и от зайца я тоже ушел, и от тебя, медведь, это не очень будет трудно уйти». И он убегал. По дороге, когда он убежал от медведя, он думал себе: «Вау, я не только и быстрый колобок, я и умный. Он не заметил, что я собирался идти. Он ничего не заметил. Я такой же умный, отличный колобочек». И он убегал. Катится. И навстречу, в конце концов, ему лиса. «О, такой симпатичный колобок, такой же хорошенький, такой же вкусный». Она смотрела на него, и он сказал ей: «Не ешь меня, ты не можешь меня съесть. я быстрый, я умный. Мне все равно. Она сказала, ничего, я просто слышал, что такие колобоки, как вы, умеете хорошие песенки петь. Ну, сказал, да, и красиво я могу так сделать. Она сказала, сделай мне доброе дело, пожалуйста. Пей мне эту песенку. Я хочу просто слышать. И он сказал, ну окей, хорошо, пою. И он собрался. Где мой корос, где мой хор? Я колобок, румяный бок. По амбару я метен, по сусекам я наскорбен. На сметане я мешаный, на окошке я стужен. Я от дедушки ушел, я от бабушки тоже ушел. Я от зайца и ушел, и от медведя тоже ушел. И от тебя, лиса-красавица. Я тоже, к сожалению, тоже уйду. И он собрался идти. А она сказала, браво, замечательно. Я в восхищении, я в восторге. Браво, не убегай от меня. И он сказал, вам так нравится, да? Она сказала, ну да, это отлично было. Просто жалко, что... Что жалко? Ну просто жалко, что я старая стала. Плохо слышу. Иди ближе ко мне, пожалуйста, и попей это еще раз. Это было просто замечательно. И он сказал, окей, хорошо. Первый раз, что люди сказали, что я пою отлично. Я сам знал, конечно. И он подошел к ней ближе. И она сказала, ну ближе, пожалуйста. Сиди на моей мордочке. Как мне будет хорошо видно все. Он сказал, да, окей, на мордочке. Может быть, это немножко опасно? А потом он подумал, я уже от зайца ушел, да. И он очень быстрый. От медведя тоже ушел. И он очень сильный. От дедушки и бабушки, они люди, они умные. И я все это сделал, я молодец. Это может быть опасно другим, но мне нет. И он сидел на мордочке. И она сказала, пей это громче, смотри наверх, пей это как на небе. И он смотрел наверх и сказал, я колобок. А лиса его усел. А вот морал здесь есть. Может быть, мораль, как я сказал. Надо найти. Спасибо.
Wow, that was an impressive level of Russian. Please write your comments for Colm, please. Actually forgot to mention something. You can either give your comments to the speaker himself, or you can just leave it at the entrance, and we will make sure that they will reach the speaker. Now our last but not least speaker will be our president, who will do the speech from the technical presentations manual, the technical briefing. His objectives are to use a systematic approach to organize technical material into concise presentation. Please welcome David Marks.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. After that exquisite fairy tale in Russian, I'm going to bring the tone right down. But hopefully you will find something of interest and of use in this technical briefing, which is on the subject of servant leadership. The reason I'm doing this is that it's part of my project, which I'm doing within Toastmasters, and it's the High Performance Leadership Project, which I've really only discovered over the last couple of months. It's something that I believe you can do at any time during your career through Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for approaching six years now, so I've left it pretty much late. I won't say to the end, but it's taken me a while to get to. It is a really useful project and would be of great use, I think, to people who are studying leadership in organisations outside Toastmasters. But the great advantage we have is that we can actually pull together a committee of people to work together, and I have several members of the guidance committee who will help me on my way through this project, and actually I have some vacancies, so if anybody else is interested in being on the guidance committee, do let me know before we close the lists. So service leadership, the first thing I would say about this is that this is a particular kind of concept of leadership which I would say is right up to date, in that just a few years ago, I can remember as well, the whole idea of a leader was that was a boss, a manager, someone who would tell everybody what to do, someone who would lead from the front or be cracking the whip from behind, all those sorts of things which I would say are now not the way to do it. Particularly when your organisation is not for profit, where the responsibility authority structures are totally informal, which they are here. I mean, we elect, the president is elected for 1 year, but I'm not paid. I have no particular authority other than the authority which I can apply, I think, through this concept of service leadership, which means that the leader is the servant of the group. For many of you, this may say, yeah, well, obviously, but actually from my past, I've known lots of leaders who were definitely not that. They were the boss. They fought their way up to the top. They maybe stabbed people in the back, and there they were sitting there, and they were not going to have their authority challenged. We wouldn't get away with that in Toastmasters, being totally not for profit. And I would say in many organisations and many situations out in the real world, it's the same. You really will need to provide value as a leader. So my objective really is to, well, first of all, yes, this is going through the project. Just to remind those who already know, actually, that the learning approach that we take in Toastmasters is action learning very much. So first of all, study. So I have a manual here which has a very large section on the whole concept of service leadership and some other things as well. So it's my job as a person going through the project to study, to actually put it into action, do things, and then last but definitely not least, to get feedback from my committee. So that's a complete loop, if you like, of learning, studying, doing, and then correcting through the feedback which I get from my committee and from other people as well. The actual concept of service leadership, I think the easiest way to talk about this is in 6 major sections, all of which I would say have equal importance, and some of which I might say I'm quite good at because I've had some experience. It's maybe a natural inclination. In fact, there's a question: are leaders born or grown, developed? Born or grown? Who says leaders are born? Who says they're grown and developed? Okay, I would say it's a bit of both.
Didn't ask that. Gave that as an option.
Absolutely. Yeah, you
needed to show your own initiative, Colm.
The reason I would put the idea that leaders can actually be born is have a look at a very young child persuading his parents and actually running the house and getting his or her way. They know, we know how to do it when we're just born. We are actually born with all the tools you need to run the house, yeah? And then we lose it a bit later on, some of us do anyway. So we do have the skills, but very, very basically, and actually it is about learning. So when someone says to me, oh, I couldn't possibly be a leader, I'll say, no, that's wrong. You know, you can learn, we can help you to learn. That's what we're doing in Toastmasters, so communicating, giving feedback, thinking, being and looking confident is all part of it. So let's start over here. First of all, vision and values. This is an important role for the servant leader. Okay, he may not be the boss, he may not be shouting at everybody saying go that way, but people look for a certain contribution, and one would be the vision. So, you know, what is this all about? Maybe more important even, how should we behave? What's acceptable behaviour and what's unacceptable? What is our culture? Also, I would say, yeah, walking the walk, actually living the values as well, actually leading by example. So it's, you know, do as I do and do what I say. That's not the other way around. Moving on then to direction. Once again, I think it's great to let everybody have their say, lots of input, brainstorm things, but at the end of the day, if the organisation actually needs to go in a certain direction, actually do certain things to achieve certain results, it is up to the leader to make sure that that is stated and documented and presented, and make sure that people aren't wandering off course. Delegation is also something that's very important as well. The leader, I think throughout all of this really, the leader shouldn't be doing all the leadership roles. Should be delegating and also go one step further, training up your own successor as well, because in fact the project that I have in mind is really about handing over the task that we're talking about. I might come back and mention a little bit what that is, but the whole idea is to train my successor so that the function goes forward without me, because I can't do it forever, I can't do it for too much longer really. Persuasion. Okay, sometimes, this may surprise you, some people don't agree with you. Some people don't agree maybe with the vision and the values. Some people don't agree with the direction we're going in. And it's, I don't want to do that, whatever. So some persuasion needs to be exercised sometimes by the servant leader. And so looking at communicate some of the different approaches you might take, communicating the big picture. So okay, that might seem difficult now, but that's where we're going. I always like the picture of the difference in a manager and a leader. Some of you will have heard this, but the manager, let's imagine you're in the jungle. The manager could be the guy hacking through the jungle. The leader is the man up the tree, looking out saying, hey guys, we're in the wrong forest. So delegation and not doing all the work yourself. Being creative, managing your time as well and resources. Support. Now this is I think very, very important. Sometimes people find it difficult, no time. We're about developing people, I think. So coaching is important. And last but not least, I think, appreciation. Some of you didn't understand because I said it in Russian. I expressed appreciation to our member who did very well in the speech contest. That's something we do in Toastmasters. We have various different awards and prizes, and that the servant leader should be doing that as well. So giving that praise where it is due, and actually making, because people actually are highly motivated by appreciation. Some people say that is the main motivator, more powerful than money. Some people surprised by it. Even sales professionals like Oliver might agree with that. Okay, money is very important, but isn't it important when the whole of your office claps of some success, and you maybe get a plaque to put on the wall or whatever, and the money. So all of those dimensions. I think one of the things that this tells me in terms of a technique is that it's a complex set of skills, and it's, even though you may be a born leader, you're not going to be good at all of that. So you're going to need to study and work and practice and get feedback, look for strengths and look for weaknesses. I've been in the business of leadership for a long time. I've studied it. I did in my MBA. I actually focused on leadership. And one of the things I've learned is that I don't know everything, and I'm looking forward to working with my committee to move forward. I've just seen a red card, but that probably gives a chance for one or two questions. So would anybody like any questions, ask me a question on servant leadership or anything else? Yes?
these points you mentioned on that chart, what are you normally using in your everyday life?
Well, I think probably all of them actually, yes. Yeah. Persuasion. Well, the only warning I give it, whenever I'm doing training on leadership or sales, I say don't try this at home. Because if I tried any of this on my wife, I'd learn to fly out the window. But I'd say, yeah, all of these are natural things in everyday life. One more question.
Can you give us an example of somebody that you consider a great servant leader?
Great servant leader. Yeah, I think. Well, this is maybe a hackneyed example, but I would say Richard Branson. Richard Branson, I think, is patently successful from the size of his turnover in his organisation and the lack of failures that you're aware of. He does have failures, but then handles them, and yet he doesn't obviously boss everybody around. He is I would say, a consummate delegator, and therefore probably he sees himself as
I'll talk to you later about it, because I think you're getting form over substance in what is a servant leader.
It's very possible, yeah. This is maybe one of the things I need to work on.
But I won't have the discussion in front of the whole club.
Okay.
They're welcome to come to the bar later and watch.
A taste and then cut us out.
If you buy me a beer, I'll be straight there. Anyway, well, thanks. I think we're definitely out of time, so thank you very much indeed. Look forward to working with you further.
David. Let's write our comments for David. You can write on the other side.
I think instead of the topics master, probably, because we don't usually comment on the topics.
Part you can write on the other side.